Napeyak Wanakisuk. Weyhan Tusa Washinikat Natushie. Good morning, my relatives. Good day. My name is Weyhan, also known as Moon. That's what my name means in English. I come from the Shinnecock Nation, Long Island, New York. But I reside now in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, and there's a reason for that, and I'm going to share the reason why through my presentation. But y'all, we all relatives, y'all. A Gockman, right? I was at the men's meeting last night. Appreciate you, Jason, for inviting me. And the medicine I'm carrying on over to today, right? We brought out the little boy drum and reminded me from back at home, right? And so when I was listening to the language and the words, it's all related, man. Like I can hear our language and yours as well, vice versa. But I just want to give a shout out to Red Light. Let's give a shout out to Red Light, y'all. Give it up for yourself. Hey, check this out. Check this out. I promise you, I'm not lying. Man. It's a young boy, singing and dancing my whole life. For some reason, I always wanted to come to Red Lake. I don't know why. For the past 2 months, this is my third time coming to Minnesota in the past 2 months, right? And I was telling Jason last night, I don't know what's going on, bro, but something's calling me up here, man. And so I want to come back even more, especially in your summertime. I see your water back at home. That's who we are. We're water people, right? And so I just want to express that and let you know that I feel at home being here, and I appreciate your hospitality. So, with no further ado, shout out to my man over here, man. I wasn't expecting him to throw on that Mob Deep, right? And the reason why I share that is because one of my favorite rappers of all time, his name is Prodigy, rest in peace, but he said his verse, he said, my life's an off-road course and I stay challenged, but that's a good thing because it creates balance. And that quote I always have to remember, so when times get rough, I know it's for a reason. Conflict precedes clarity, right? So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about myself. I'm gonna take you guys on a journey. I'm gonna share a story with you. And throughout this story, you're gonna hear many different things throughout my recovery. You see, I am a person that's in long-term recovery. And check this out, you guys. In 2 days, I'll be celebrating 8 years. It's not a coincidence that I'm here with y'all right now. This is not a coincidence. I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be celebrating with y'all. I'm supposed to be doing that, right? By day, I'm a director at a treatment center in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'm also a Narcan trainer, a mental health first aid trainer, a youth mental health first aid trainer, all these different things. But I only do that because somebody did that for me. Somebody helped me. Somebody with skills helped me to get where I'm at today. And I'm gonna share with you that journey of what I've been through and how I got here. I don't tell war stories, y'all. I'm all about the solution. So you're gonna hear some things, right? You're gonna hear some things. I might tell you a little bit about, some of the things that went on back in the day, but I'm all about the solution. Who's in recovery here right now? Oh, I love it. Yeah. Mama, we in there. We do this together. And so today, I'm going to say Gunalumpa. Gunalumpa is a term that comes from my relatives up north, the Haudenosaunee people. They say Gunalumpa, which means I share my medicine with you. Each and every one of you who's in recovery has a story, and that is your medicine. And it is your duty to share that so you can help someone else. So y'all ready? Y'all ready to walk through this journey with me? Let's do it, y'all. What do you guys know about me? As I was raised, very traditional. I was raised in the lodge at home. I was raised singing and dancing. We're first contact people. 1639 is when we first met the Dutch on our land. Things started to change. Assimilation, colonization. 1639 is when we started to lose our language. Thankfully, we still have some speakers back at home. My sisters are one of them. We have a language emergence program for our little ones back at home. These little ones, when they go home, they can speak a lot more than I can. Brings us hope, right? But I wanted you to know that. I wanted you to know that I come from a traditional background. And for me, It was a gift and a curse. And I'm going to share with you why. January 9th, 2018 is when my life changed. This is a picture of a courthouse that I was at. And on January 9th, 2018, I had to do my check-in, right? I was on drug court. I had to go check in with the courts and the probation officer, right? And I'm standing before the judge, I'm confident I'm going to walk back out. And that judge says, Mr. Smith, put your hands behind your back. And I was like, damn. You see, I was in drug court for about 6 months at that time. And the whole time I was still using. I actually used that day inside the courthouse. And so the judge came to me and said, Mr. Smith, you need to sit down for a little while. But check this out, you guys. It wasn't because I provided a dirty urine and I didn't fess up. That wasn't the reason why. The reason is because Creator had given me a gift and I wasn't using it right. For so long in my life, I just wasn't living right. And he gave me a gift. And so Creator said, all right, Mr. Smith, you want to mess around with this gift I give you? Let me go give you a glimpse of what your life is going to be like if you don't straighten up. Jails, institutions, and death. Exactly. So I went to the county jail. Wasn't nothing crazy. You know what I mean? I ain't do no year or anything like that. It was like 30 days in there. But that's a picture, that top picture, the picture of the jail. There were some things that happened in there that changed my life forever. One of the things that happened to me was that I read a book. Anybody familiar with that red book? Red Road to Variety? Right? Let's give it up for everybody from Red Road. Let's give it up. Let's give it up. It saved my life. You see, I was given that book 6 years prior to me going in jail. 6 years prior. And I never picked it up. I wasn't ready. So when Creator sent me to jail for a reason, it was my time to reflect. It was my time to read that book. I cracked that book open at 37 years old. And I read it. And I found the root cause of my substance use. Why did I pick up in the first place? See, I always thought at the age of 15, my mother and father got divorced. And I thought that triggered me to use. That was the furthest from the truth. I told you guys I grew up singing, I grew up dancing, I grew up going to ceremony. But you see, my friends, not everybody did that in my community. I was judged. My cousins grew up in a different way because their grandmas and their grandpas got sent to boarding schools and they learned a different way. And they came back and taught their children a different way. Different way of prayer, different prayer of worship. And so my own relatives would tease me. I used to have long hair, y'all. Leather hair tie, my headband. I thought I was kind of fly. You know what I mean? Then I would get on the school bus and I would walk to the seat on the school bus. Before I got to that seat, somebody would yank out my hair tie. Then I would go to school and I would get teased even more, yanking out my hair tie. Then I would travel throughout the country, I would sing, I would dance. And that was a pretty badass fancy dancer as well. And I used to win. I never forget, I lined up and I got second place. I beat someone else from a different tribe. And he got mad. And he called me the N-word. And I was like, God, you took care of me and my brother. Not the best way, but we did. Because I hurt my spirit. You see, that's what was happening, y'all. My spirit was being depleted. My self-esteem was being depleted. I didn't feel like I fit in. My own relatives were teasing me. And then I travel and I'm going to different communities. I'm getting teased there. Right? It didn't feel good. And so when I found that bottle at the age of 15, it took away that pain. And I continued to do that. I continued to know myself because I didn't fit in. I can remember the day that I didn't want to be Indian anymore. I remember that day. It was easier for me to pass as an African American, as a Dominican. I'm telling you right now, I go to presentations all over the country, and I step into the building, and when I speak my language, I see people's eyes light up, because the first thing I can guarantee, they're like, oh, who is this guy? Black guy? Puerto Rican guy? Dominican? Cuban? I'm everything but indigenous, right? Anything but shitty cop, right? But I like that now, because now I have an opportunity to educate. I mentioned we're first contact people, which means we had many people come through our waters, come to our shores, and they were mixed together. I have a picture on my phone of my great-grandmother, straight Irish, holding 2 Indian babies. Crazy, right? So, that was one thing that happened to me when I was in jail. Red road sobriety saved my life, because now I found the root cause of why I use substance. So now I can do something about it. Now I can do something about it, y'all. And then I had something else happen to me while I was in jail. That picture of that gentleman, that's my older brother, my late older brother. He passed away April 28, 2012. He's the creator of my clothing brand called Everton Couture. He's the creator of that. His name is Jason. His street name is Ted, and his last name is King. Back in 2009, he gave me a phone call. I was living in New Mexico at the time. I was still with the mother of my children. And he gave me a call. And he was like, yo, bro, I want to do a clothing line. And I'm like, oh, yeah? What the heck do you want me to do? And he was like, well, I want you to help me with the business part. At that time, I was in school for business. And I was like, man, dude, I'm working. I got these kids I'm raising, going to school. I'll do what I can. So he said, all right. So he sent me a to-do list, right? And he said, I want you to pick out the logo. And I said, cool. I'll pick out the logo. And that's the logo right there. Every time Couture. Every time is made of spelled backwards. So he sent me that, right? We had our first fashion show back at home in 2010 and got a really good response. So we figured this is something that we could do. And so, 2012, this is during the Gathering Nations powwow. I was singing at the powwow, my brother was dancing, we got a phone call at 4:30 in the morning that we had lost my brother and our cousin in a tragic car accident, alcohol related. Me and my brother talked to our uncles and we said we have to go home. And they said we can't right now. He said your brother wants you to continue to sing and you continue to dance for him. And then you guys go home. And so that's what we did. We went home. That was April of 2012. June of 2012, I actually moved back to my homeland in Shinnecock. And I got really bad. I got really bad at my addiction, right? Drinking, cocaine, heroin. Got bad, y'all. And so, when Creator came into my life in 2018, January 9th, 2018, I knew that I had to change. And Creator was putting things in my life, the messages for me to take. Who gets these messages? We get them all the time, right? You see like a little bird or something, a sign. We see them all the time. And a lot of times, we don't even acknowledge them. Sometimes we get a sign, we get a feeling, and we don't even acknowledge it. I don't know if that's fear-based, if we're not ready for that, but I was ready for this. I was ready for this message. I told you my brother's name is Jason Tech King. I'm laying in a cell bed. I'm looking at the ceiling, and I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do when I get out? I had a thought. I'm going to bring back Everton Couture. As I had that thought, my eyes went from the ceiling to the cell door. And the words, Tech King, my brother's name, was engraved in the cell door. You can't tell me that's not a message. Right? You can't tell me that's not a message. I talked to the OG of the tier in jail. I told him what happened. I broke down. He said, Moon, you're going to get your ass out. You're going to go to New Mexico to be a dad, and you're going to do every time for tour. And if you don't do that, I'm coming to find you. My man Melvin. No, I was his name. I said, okay. That's exactly what I did, y'all. I get out. I see Creator. Creator knows. Anybody know the story of the healing forest? All right. See, I wasn't able to go back to my community. I wasn't. Why? Why wasn't I able to go back to my community? It's because I got sick in my community. Right? So this is how my process went. Went to jail. Then I go to treatment for 30 days. After treatment, I'm thinking, all right, cool, I'm going home. Creator's like, you must be bugging. You are not going home, buddy. You're going to sober living. That's the house that I stayed at for a year. Right? But see, Creator was setting me up for success. I just had to know how to connect the dots. Is anybody right now connecting the dots in your life? Are you able to see the beautiful, amazing things that are happening to you and why they're happening? Right? You can see that, right? To tell you that you're on the right track, right? And see, this is what I'm talking about. We gotta learn to connect the dots in your life, understand how Creator is working in your life. You see, I couldn't go back home, y'all, because I got sick there. I got sick at home. I went to many different treatment centers, and every time I went back home, I got sick right again. Right? So I went to sober living, y'all. And I was humbled. Wasn't able to see my children. I didn't have any transportation. But see, Creator was setting me up. During that time, I was a banker, worked at a bank. And this bank is out of their mind. And I'm going to tell you why. This bank is out of their mind because this is the second treatment center that I've been through while working for them, and they didn't fire me. That's insane. I'm a banker. I got access to your money. And I'm an addict, right? And you're keeping me on board? Like, they're bugging. But there was a reason why. There was a reason why. So this bank that I worked at was right next to our land, our homeland. It's not, we don't call it a res, even though we say the word res. Where we come from, it's not. It's our original Aboriginal territory, right? It's our original territory. It was never moved, ever. It was made smaller, but that's our original land. When I go back home and I put my feet in that water and I grab my clams with these clams in their toes, it's our original water our ancestors harvested 10,000 years ago, right? Just want you to know that. So anyway, I was working at a bank that was right by the res. So I would have a dealer come here. Break me off a little something for breakfast, break me off a little something for lunch, break me off a little something before I got home. You know what I mean? Like I had to maintain myself, right? You know what I'm saying? So Creator was like, all right, you're going to sober living, which is going to be 3 towns away. So I can't go home as easy. But you see, the bank is going to stick with you. The bank is going to keep you employed, and they're going to move you to a different branch near your sober living home. So now you can walk to work. Now you can still have income to send money to your boys who are living in New Mexico. And then top it off, Creator said, I'm going to give you a new boss. And that boss is going to have 27 years of recovery. Do you see how the Creator set me up for success? He allowed me to keep my job away from my homeland and give me someone that can relate to what I was going through. And I still made contact with this guy to this very day, right? So I had to work, y'all. It was a struggle, baby. It was a struggle. I'm walking everywhere. I lost so much weight because I'm walking to work and some hard bottoms and a suit and tie, and I gotta walk 3 miles down the road in the hot-ass New York humidity weather. You know what it is, Sam? It's hot than Haiti out there. It's something, right? So I'm walking, right? I never forget this, y'all. I had to do a program, so I'm walking to IOP first, right? I go to IOP, and I never forget this, y'all. I walked, after the class was done, I was walking out of the building, getting ready to walk to work, and as I walked through the lobby of IOP, the heel of my hard bottoms fell off. And I was embarrassed, but it was a message. It was a message. You putting that work in, Moon. Continue on. I said, all right, cool. So now I'm feeling good, right? I got like 90 days. I'm on that pink cloud. Everything's going well. Boom, boom, boom. July 31st, which happens to be my birthday. July 31st, 2018, I go for a check-in with the courts, right? Drug court, right? So I'm going. Everything's good. I'm feeling good. I got real sobriety, I'm feeling good about myself. Then I get a phone call from a sober living home, and it's like, boom, you need to come in, we need to talk to you ASAP. I'm like, oh shit, what happened? Did DHS stop paying my rent? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? So I go to outpatient, and they say, Moon, you tested positive for alcohol. And I promise you, this is exactly what I said. I said, oh yeah? I was like, damn, it must have been that cologne I sprayed on. Then I was like, yo, hold up. I was like, yo, maybe it was the raspberries that I ate because they were in the fridge for like 3 days and probably got some empty. That's what I told them. I promise you. Because I knew I didn't drink. You know what I'm saying? I knew I didn't drink. And they was like, nah, Moon. They was like, nah. Your test suggests that you took a lot of alcohol. And I was like, what? And then he's like, you have to leave. You have to leave sober living. Cursed him out. I walked out because now I'm in fear. I was looking at doing time. Now I'm violating probation. How am I going to tell my probation officer? How am I going to tell my judge this is what's happening to me? So I called everyone that I knew in my support network, my sponsor, my brothers, my mom, my woman at the time. And every single person, I even called my PO, but I didn't like what he said, so I hung up on him. But every other person told me this: Moon, keep doing what you're doing. And I said, okay. So I showed up to IOP the next day early, and I said, you're not getting rid of me that easy. And I demanded a retest on that original urine sample. I demanded that. That was on a Tuesday on my birthday, July 31st. 3 days later, on a Friday afternoon, I'm sitting down having pizza with one of my good buddies in recovery, and I get a phone call from the outpatient program, and this is exactly what they said. They said, Moon, we are so sorry. The lab messed up your test. You can now go back to your sober living home. The judge never found out. My PO, he found out, but he was cool. But understand this, y'all. See, Creator was testing me. Creator was testing to see how serious I was about my recovery. Because, see, I had every excuse to use. Oh, you think I drink? Well, let me show you. Right? Let me show you. That was my mentality. Right? Oh, you think I use? Well, let me show you how I can do that. Pretty good at it. Right? So that was Creator's way of testing me. The reason why I'm sharing that is because I look at my life as such. When I go through hard times, I know that there's something beautiful waiting on the other side. Conflict precedes clarity. Am I lying? Every single time that I go through a hard time, whether it's heartbreak, whether it's financial hardships, whatever it is, I go through that because it's temporary. It's always temporary. And there's always something amazing and beautiful on the other side. And I'm going to show you proof of that here in a moment. So now, Now I can continue on, right? So now I continue on. Remember I told you about every time couture, right? So now check this out. I had this epiphany in court, right? In jail, excuse me. I had this epiphany. My brother was talking to me. So I get out and I walk to Walmart and I go buy me a sweatsuit and I buy me some transfer paper. Then I walk to the library. This is about 6 miles into my grind, right? So I walk to the library and I print out the logo on this transfer paper. I go back to the sober house. I go in the basement and I make that sweatsuit that you see in that picture right there. I was reviving our dream. I was remembering our dream of me and my brother. And I took that picture and I posted it on Facebook. A few years later, there in the upper right-hand corner, there's a rapper. His name is Noriega, the hip-hop group Capone Noriega. Anybody familiar? He also has the podcast Drip Champs and Run Champs, right? That's him wearing a sweatsuit every time couture. I made that for him in my little studio apartment in Albuquerque, New Mexico. You dig what I'm saying? The dream is here, baby, and it's alive, right? Thank you. It was huge. He actually wore it on Loving Hip Hop. He wore it on Loving Hip Hop. And all the clothes in his closet, he decided to wear every time couture on Loving Hip Hop. You know he's bugging, but I appreciate it. You see what I'm saying? And so I see him just not too long ago, this past fall. I'm scrolling on Instagram, and I'm like, hold up. He's wearing my socks? I gave him every time couture socks like 3 years ago, and he's still rocking them? I'm like, oh, I gotta give this guy some more merch, because he actually wears it, right? But the dream is here, y'all. I want you to share that. I want you to share that. I want you to share about how you're supposed to remember your dream. And this is why. When I was going through my process, I never forget this. There was a gentleman, his name was Mike. And I had did an assessment with Mike. And this is my second assessment that I did with Mike, because Mike was going to help me get into school. And so Mike read my assessment, and he said, Moon, you're only 90 days clean. Last time he was with me was 6 months. You relapsed. I said, I did. He said, let me tell you something, Moon. Remember your dream. For some reason, this gentleman's words stuck in my mind. Remember your dream. And if you pick up again, you will hinder your dream. Those words, I want to get that shit tatted on me because it's helped me so much. Every time I go through stuff, every time I want to say F it and give up and get high or, get a little taste, I remember my dream. I remember my goals, right? I remember them. Not only that, y'all, I want you guys to do this as well. How many of you speak your dreams or your prayers out loud? How many of you speak them, allow your vibrations to go out to the universe? Good. I'm going to give you guys some proof that it works, right? So, I'm feeling good, things are going well, I understand what creator's trying to do, so now it's time for me to reconnect with my culture. It's time for me to reconnect. So 2018 was probably the year that I went to the most ceremonies in my life. I was reconnected, right? That picture you see here to the right, that's a picture of me. I was still living in sober living. I went to my uncle's house and I started that sweat fire. I couldn't wait to get back into that home. I couldn't wait to get back in there and sing and pray with my brothers who are also on the road of recovery, right? And then that picture right here, this picture right here, I might get emotional in sharing this. This is a picture of myself, my brother-in-law, my brother, this gentleman here. Anybody familiar with the new Benton? Old man Eddie Benton's son? That's my cousin, right? That's my cousin. My nephew, and I got some roses there from Aquasasna. What we were doing is we were preparing our big lodge because I was giving my son something that was never given to me. My oldest son, I wanted him to go through his coming of age ceremony. And so about 4 years ago, I took all my children back home. and we built this lodge. This is the big lodge that where myself, my dad, my son's brothers, his uncles, everyone would stay as my son and my nephew will go off on the hill and do their fast. This was something that was extremely important to me because I was able to give this to my children while I was in recovery. I have 2 more boys that need to go through this process. And if it all works out, we'll be doing it this June, right before the U.S. Open. And I'm sharing that with you because I never went through mine. And so my vision to have my boys go through their coming of age, and then after that, they're going to put me on their own because they will know what to do. That's my dream. That's my vision, right? When my son came back, we had the little boy growing up that time. When my son came back, he shared with the community what happened to him. My brother Ted, the creator of Everton, he loved Blue Jays. I don't know what the hell it was, but he loved Blue Jays, birds. So my son shared with the community the messages he received. And he said, Dad, the whole time I was there, Uncle Ted was with him as a Blue Jay. And I wanted my son to understand what he was going through because he was going to have some challenges in his life. And he needed to understand that if he can fast for 3 days and 2 nights with no food and no water in the humidity of New York, he could overcome anything. My children are from Haines and Cochiti Pueblo in New Mexico. They are preparing to go into their fasting out that way next week. I'm sharing this with you because my children are very immersed in their culture. It has saved them from going this way. They tried. They went a little bit, but they went right back that way because they had to remember the teachings, right? Just like I had to. Just took me a little bit longer, right? That's the importance of us going through culture, having our culture in our lives, right? So now, I have my children in my life. May 12th, 2019. I don't know why I picked that day. For May 12th of 2019, y'all made a decision. See, I was feeling good. I had about a year and a half of sobriety under my belt. I was like, it's time. It's time to man up and go be a father. November 2018, I received a phone call from my son, my oldest son, and he was crying. I said, what's wrong, son? He said, Dad, I just miss you. That's all I needed to know. I said, I'm coming. I am coming. And so I had to make some moves, y'all. Who's in that process right now of recovery? Who's going through it, right? Who has some goals? Who got some things that we got to overcome, right? We got to overcome some things, right? We got some goals that we got to reach so we can get to our ultimate dream, right? That's what I had to do. So I took advantage of sober living, y'all. I took advantage of that, right? I didn't have to pay any rent. I stacked all that money. Then I got out. Then I had to fix my credit. Then I had to buy a car, right? Then I made a move. May 12, 2018, I jumped in my car. 2019, excuse me. I jumped in my car and I drove from New York to New Mexico. I didn't have any place to stay. I had no job lined up. I had hardly any money. The only thing that I had, y'all, was the will. The only thing I needed was the will to go back to New Mexico to be a full-time father. That was my dream. That was my goal. Thank you. And so now, it was difficult. Don't think it was all peaches and cream, y'all. It wasn't. Their mom didn't want me there. So now I'm struggling with that. Now I'm struggling to co-parent. Right? It was still not good. But I had a different spirit in me. And I had to do things the right way. So I did. I became my own lawyer. Literally, I was my own lawyer. I did all my own paperwork for custody, all these motions I read, and I filled out everything on my own. It took me 6 years. This past July, I received full custody of my children. Hold up. Don't clap for that. Don't clap for that. I appreciate it. Yo. I appreciate it, but this is why I say don't clap for that. If I have full custody of my children, that means somebody else is going through a hard time. That means their mom is going through a hard time. I don't wish that. That's why I had to get custody of my children, because their mom was going through a hard time with substance. So I had to be that supportive adult for my boys. But now they're hurting because their mom's sick. Right? So I got my boys. Now my mom wants to treat me, and she's doing pretty good right now. She's doing pretty good. The only thing, yeah, you clap for that. Clap for that, because she's doing all right. She's doing all right. But you see now, I'm all about moments and memories, y'all. I'm all about sharing the message. I'm all about giving back to the community, because somebody did that for me. Somebody did that for me. Check this out. This is the craziest thing in the world. I was able to take my mess-ups in life, all of my mess-ups, my substance use, my craziness, and I was able to turn that into a career. I'm also a certified peer support worker. I'm also a licensed substance abuse associate. I do hold a counseling license. I was able to take my mess-ups and turn it into an actual very fruitful career, y'all. And you can too. And you can too. Last Monday, I bought my boys a house. Last Monday, brand new. Brand new. Nobody's ever been in a brand new built home. Only because I stayed the course. It took a very long time to get to that point. And I was able to do it. All you gotta do is work hard. Honestly, dude, it's not that hard. You just gotta grind. Make some sacrifices. Get that 2 or 3 jobs, man. Put that money in the bank. Stack it. You see what I'm saying? And these are things that can happen. But I was able to do that for my boys. So now my boys have their home. They have their homestead. That ain't for me. That's for them. That's for them. I'm good. That's for them. That's for my boys. So that's a picture of me and my boys last Monday when we bought that home. Right? And then I also like to give back. This was on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, I always get up in the morning and I do what is called a gratitude run, a little 5K. Get the blood going, because I know I'm going to eat very good that day. Right? So I get up and I do a gratitude run. After that gratitude run, I go down to the hood in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I go to the real hood. Right? Because I know a lot of our relatives are there. Some of my relatives right here. I get out some of that Everton Couture merch. Right? And it's just a way to give back, to make them feel good. Damn, I got something for you, man. I got something for you that can run, bro. Jason's over here like, where's mine? I'm like, damn, dude. Oh, now Sam, what we're doing? Come on. All right, Sam, you gotta give me your math, baby. I got a whole pile back at home. I got a whole inventory, baby. But the reason why I'm sharing this, you guys, is because this is the process. You just can't give up. We just cannot give up. And you gotta pay attention to the messages. Stop being scared. Right? When those messages come, accept and embrace them. It's for a reason. Creating, seeing the hard work that you're doing. Speak your prayer out loud. Put it in the universe. I put that home in the universe about 10 years ago. Promise you. I always wondered, how do people do this? I'm a single father, y'all. I don't have no cosigner. I don't got a second income. None of that. Grind, baby. Hard work, I promise you. It's so cliche, but it's so true. Hard work does pay off. It does. I promise you that.
Oh, yeah.
I promise you that. So, my advice to you is take everything you've been through and turn it into a career, yo. I get it. Add value to your name. Go to trainings. Get trained up. Add value to who you are as a person. And people will see it. And they're going to be like, yo, I need you to come speak at Red Lake. Like my man Jason. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to lie, yo. This is coming up the car, man. I was like, hell yeah, I'm coming up there. And so with that, I also going to say this. This has not been an easy road. It's been extremely difficult. I have lost relatives to this disease. You know, we just had New Year's. New Year's Eve, I got a phone call. 6 years ago, my older brother passed away. Another one of my older brothers passed away. Alcohol, opioids. My older brother was my idol. He had everything that you can imagine a man would want. A beautiful wife, beautiful kids, beautiful home, and a shitload of money. Like my brother just couldn't take it. How many of y'all can relate to having relatives that have passed on from this disease? Stand up. Everyone stand up, because right now we're going to honor them. For all those who did not make it, we're going to sing this song. This song was taught to me. My uncle passed away. And this song was taught to me by, you may know him, Mr. Kenny Merritt Jr. Kenny Merritt was instrumental in how I sing the songs that I know. He shared a lot of these songs with me. We still carry these songs. His son is married into my family, Craig Merritt. Tyson, his brother. We're all relatives. When Kenny came down to sing for our uncle, he shared this song and he was singing. He was singing for the family, he was singing for yourself, he was singing for the community. So we remember that. And so I'm going to share this song the best way that I can. And so for those that have relatives that crossed over, acknowledge them, speak to them, think of them, and live for them. Live for them. That's what I'm doing. I'm living for my uncle, my brother, my cousin, my best friend, all them people that I've crossed over from this disease. I'm living for them. Because right now, they're over in the spirit world having ceremony for me down here so I can share the message. That's what I'm doing right now. Anybody know this song? Please help me. My prayer for you is that you leave here feeling better than you did when you came. I say Tobunish in my language, that means thank you very much. And I say Wanish, which means be well.